What's going on, guys? Tony K, UGSM, living the dream as always. So like I said earlier today in a TikTok that I made, I was gonna go live sometime between 5 and 6. It's 5:35 right now, so it seems like a good time to go live. I want to talk about the Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary announcements that we got today. I'm only gonna talk about two of them, and it's going to be the two big ones. We'll give it a moment here while people are coming in and whatnot. Just kind of dilly dally. I actually do want to say something serious though. Um, so I was at work when the Magic the Gathering announcement came out today. Um, so I didn't have a chance to sit down and create any content, right? When that happens, generally I'll just sit around and watch, see what other people are saying. And even after I make content, I love to hear what other people say. Um, I was really disappointed in a lot of content creators today. There was a fight and a push to be first, not to report correctly. Um, there were people who didn't get the set correct of one of the big announcements. They didn't get the card pack layout correct, even though WotC announced it. Just things like that that you could just tell that there's a huge rush to be first. Because generally when these big announcements come like this, there's a there's a few people like Rudy with Alpha Investments, for example, or MTG Goldfish, and some of the flagship content creators in the Magic community. They don't normally put stuff out in the first 2 minutes. They wait a bit, they get some information, and they make really good content from it. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I was really disappointed today, just with what I saw from a lot of creators who just didn't get some of the stuff right. I mean, just let's just put it to that. So, but let's get to it. It's go time. So, what a day! And I do have some notes here, just to kind of help keep me on track, so that I'm not rambling forever. Because there's a lot to unpack. Um, so if you see me looking down a lot, I have the website up so that if there's anything that I want to spot check, I can. And then I also just have some notes on what I thought of today's announcements. Um, Overall, what a day though, right? So we're knee deep, we're knucks deep into the Magic 30th anniversary, and um, today we got two really big set announcements that I wanted to discuss. Uh, the first one's the bigger of the two. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's the 30th anniversary special re-release of Beta. So that's Magic's second set. It's a limited release re-release of the limited edition beta, whatever you want to call it. Um, so that was announced today that you can buy packs of that you can uh, purchase a box of it. And I'm going to talk about the price after a bit here. Let's talk about what we know for sure when it comes to this product. First is it is the beta set. There's a lot of content creators out there saying alpha and saying other sets, mainly alpha is the one I heard. It very clearly states beta in the article. You can go check it out. It is not all the cards from the set, though. There are 6 cards that they told us are not being included. Uh, Contract from Below, Dark Pact, and Demonic Attorney. I'm imagining that's because of the anti-rule. That's just my guess. And then Earthbind, Weakness, and Crusade. Those are problematic cards based on the society we live in. Simple as that. That's really all it comes down to. There's other Magic sets that have cards that they may not reprint if they do things like this again in the future, just because society has changed a lot in 30 years and it's not acceptable, some of these things. The other stuff we know, 15 cards to a pack. So that's what the website says. Now, you can check my math here. This was kind of interesting, but it says 15 cards to a pack, and it says 13 cards in the modern frame. One of those rare, 3 of them uncommon, 7 commons, and 2 basic lands. So you're at 13 right there. And then they say 1 basic land in the retro frame, 1 additional retro frame card, and a token. technically that's 16 cards, but whatever. So that's your 15 card breakdown. And based on what's on the site right now, wizards.com, and what I wrote down from earlier, you're getting 3 basic lands per pack. Excuse me. Now let's talk about the price. So we know it's beta. We know that beta has a lot of unique cards. You know, your Moxes and Power Nines and Lotus and the duels, right? Well, a pack is going to cost $250 each. You can buy a box with 4 packs for $1,000. That's how we came up with the $250 price point. I haven't seen anything that says that it's going to be sold individual packs. I've only seen the box so far. But it's going to be $1,000 for 4 packs, and you're going to get somewhere of 60 to 64 cards, excuse me. Depends on if you want to count the tokens and whatnot. Wow. Just wow. That's a lot. First off, here's my concerns. I do have some concerns with the product. The price point is really high, and I think it's so high that it moves past that collector's feel into it prices out your casual players that want to collect. $1,000 for 60 cards, and this is supposed to be their flagship product to celebrate 30 years in business. So they're pricing out players on their anniversary with a very high risk, and we don't know what the prices are going to be on these cards, but I can't imagine that a Black Lotus is going to be over $1,000. I just don't see it. These cards are being printed with a unique back. I would go to the website and check the back if I were you. It has Black Lotus, the actual image, and it's gold border on the back, black border on the front. So it looks more normal on the front, and it's the back that's different. And we will talk about the printing and the reserve list stuff in a bit. But my initial concern really is just they've priced out a lot of players with this product. Me personally, I wasn't going to buy it. Beta's not a set that I really go crazy for. The cards I want from Beta, with the exception of the dual lands and the Power 9, the stuff that's realistic to play, I've got. They reprinted a lot of it, so it doesn't really make a big difference to me. But I don't know. That's crazy. I would have liked to have seen them maybe just give us the entire set for the $1,000 and figure out a way to sell packs. But yeah. So one of the things that really annoyed me today with the content creators that had to be first, because there was a bunch of them, they had to be first. A lot of them got not only the set wrong. Go back and watch a lot of content creators who release something within the first 3 or 4 hours of the announcement from WotC. They're calling it alpha. One person didn't talk about the card frame correctly. They kept calling them the championship cards, but whatever. There's a lot of people that didn't catch that the announcement says you're getting 3 lands per pack. And I'm going to scroll again right here while you guys are with me. I'm going to pull up that article again. And I'm going to go right to it, and I'll turn the camera so you can see what I'm looking at. Because if I'm reading this correctly, and I'll read directly what's off the screen. Scroll down to the pack breakdown. Of course, it's going to take a minute to get there. Okay. So 13 cards in the modern frame, 1 rare, 3 uncommon, 7 common, 2 basic lands. There's 13 cards. Plus 1 basic land in the retro frame, 1 additional retro frame card, and a token. So that does put us over the 15, whatever. But that is 3 lands. So don't get too sick. But you can see right above the island and the human wizard, it says the lands. You might ask yourself, why does that matter, Tony? Why should we care about the 3 lands? Well, because again, going back to that price point, $250 per pack, $1,000 for 4 packs. 3 cards in each pack are going to be lands. Lands are generally given in every pack and in every set because they are the cheapest thing. Okay, they hold almost no real value. I know we have these special full art lands that come out every set now, and some of the lands actually do have value, but that is such a small number compared to what doesn't have value that 3 lands and seven commons and 3 uncommons from beta in these unique frames and printing and all this, that is a terrible deal in my opinion. Just really bad, really bad. I don't have a lot that I can say about it other than I just feel like this is really bad, almost as bad as my camera work in this video. Sorry for all the moving around, but that's just my opinion. Let me get a sip of this beer, and then we're going to talk about the reserve list aspect. So, a whole bunch can be said about the reserve list right now. My initial thoughts are, I thought they stopped doing the championship decks years ago because they couldn't use the alternative frame and back and whatnot for the card. This is just another example, both with the smaller part of the card layout and frame from championship decks, but also the reserve list. Another example of WotC just telling us one thing and doing another. I've made videos in the past about how some of my favorite ones is no more master sets. We just came out of Double Masters 2022. No more core sets, and then they released Magic Origins and brought a few more back after that. WotC has a huge, long history of we're going to say something and we're going to follow it as long as it works for us, and eventually we'll get tired of it, and then we will go ahead and change path. And we're not really going to discuss why we're doing it, and we're going to hope that you're not too upset, or at least not upset enough to where we hear about it. So that's my first thing. That was my first thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand the mindset. But it's an interesting thing that they're doing, right? So they're done. They said, hey, we're gonna reprint these cards. Some of them are on the reserve list. Sorry for you. My thoughts are, first off, this is fascinating. It's a fascinating time because for years we've had the question of what if, and now it's, well, we have to be prepared. We have to have that conversation. What if they say no more reserve lists? Does that mean that they're going to do something like this where they're going to reprint sets? Are they going to reprint individual cards? We don't know. I think that this set's actually going to tell Wizards of the Coast everything that they need to know moving forward. They've tried things here and there. Remember, they were putting reserve list cards into Arena, Tropical Island, and they put those out there. They found the Legends cards. Put those out there. They've been trying to figure out different ways. I think this guy named Jim Davis I saw today, he actually put together a good video. So if you guys ever want to watch a good content creator, Jim Davis is pretty cool. He talked about some of that too, where like they've been sprinkling in. But anyways, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Anyways, I find it fascinating. The other thing is, that somebody is sitting at home hearing these announcements and thinking, can I sue WotC? There's going to be players. They may not be on the internet. They may not go online and talk about it. It may not be on Reddit. It may not happen to where you guys see it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It's going to be off camera possibly, but there's going to be somebody that's going to look at this and say, do I have the ability to sue Wizards of the Coast? They made this promise years ago, yada, 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 whatever. Here we are. They're reprinting these cards. There's going to be people that are going to have that conversation. I don't know. I don't know the legal backing or anything that will go into that, or what precedent we have. But I do know that I just find it fascinating that a conversation that the community has had for years and years and years about what happens. All of a sudden now we have to figure it out. I think it was Armageddon that at some point in the movie they talk about, we need to talk about what if and start dealing within reality or something like that. I thought about that as I was turn on the camera here, but whatever. Um, well, and while I don't personally have a problem with the set, um, I think a lot of people are going to seek some legal counsel and see if they have a case. Even if they're not offended and not triggered, they may just do it because, hey, it's a chance to get free money. If it works, I don't know if something like that works. I can't imagine the Wizards of the Coast, like, I can buy into them not giving a shit about quality control on the cards that they're sending out and play testing. I can buy that. I can't buy them risking everything without really looking into loopholes and workarounds and talking to legal counsel. That's just my opinion. So overall, this is not a product for me. If it's a product for you, great. I don't think it's one for me. I think it's a little overpriced, and Beta wasn't really a set that I cared much about. I also thought it was kind of weird because when you think about how many cards from Beta, like Power 9 isn't really played anywhere except for Vintage. Like, I know some people may have proxies that they can use in their play group, or maybe play groups actually allow it. But I don't think there's a lot of Power 9 being played. The dual lands will be nice addition. But otherwise, I don't think Beta has, like, I know Soul Ring's in there. And there's a few other cards, like Land of War Elves would be cool to get one of those, and whatnot. But I don't think that Beta has this, like, huge supply of cards that are going to get into the market and see play. So it's kind of a weird selection if you're looking at that from that perspective. I do have some ideas on what I would have done differently if I had a voice in the matter. First off, we can keep the $1,000 price tag. That's fair. I think that what you need to do, though, is you give the purchase, whoever purchases it, the entire set, one of each card, $1,000. Again, I don't see Black Lotus being, like, it'll probably be a couple $100. Don't get me wrong, it'll probably be a few $100. The dual lands will probably be up there, and you might have a little bit of value in this set that I'm just not realizing because we don't have any pre-release pricing. But even the pre-release pricing, it's going to go down a little bit. This is going to be one of the hardest products to really, like, accurately predict. I think that a lot of it's going to be top heavy, and the rest of it's just going to be meh. People who maybe can't afford to buy the box might get some of those lower end cards just so they can have a piece of the set. But yeah, I think $1,000 was fair if you gave us the entire set. Honest to God. I think the price per pack should have been $75 to $100. Again, I haven't seen if they are necessarily selling individual packs or if it's in the box only. If they're not selling individual packs, I think they should. Because, again, even if, what if you have someone that they'll spend $250 to get a pack? Okay, well, if it only comes in the box, they might be missing out. Assuming that, they're listening to what I'm saying, 75 to 100 per pack. I think they should have sold the boxes with 10 packs, or excuse me, at the price of 10 packs. So if you're giving me $75 per pack, then it's going to be $750 for the box, but you get one bonus pack for free. So you get 11 packs for the price of 10. And I also think the biggest thing for me is packs specifically, only one land. This is going to be, for some people, they're going to open this product, they're going to get like an animate wall and 3 lands and a bunch of just shit. And they're going to pay $250 for that, and they might have $50, maybe 60 in value, if that. So I'm definitely a little surprised that the price is so high on such a basic set, and they're giving you 3 lands. Really surprised. So that was the first announcement. That was the big one. That's what a lot of the time on this video is going to go to. My other announcement that I wanted to cover today was the Secret Lair 30 Celebration Kit. Real quickly, it is 30 cards individually wrapped. Each one's individually wrapped. The idea is that you can open one each day through the month of December, kind of like an advent calendar. They make a few references in the article to a holiday, kind of tongue-in-cheek. But it's 30 Secret Lair cards with new art. They showed us 7 today, and all 7 of them were great. Shark Typhoon, Necropotence, Chrome Mox, Birthing Pod, Elspeth, Sun's Champion, Nicol Bolas, God Pharaoh, and Bloodbraid Elf. Uh, the listing shows that we'll get the rest of the cards, the other 23, on October 24th. Release is only from November 1st through the 4th or until sold out. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. And they're $150 each. So November 1 through 4 or until sold out, very scary to hear. Because remember, we just came off of Convention in a Box where they had a very limited number and they sold out in 90 minutes. It was a great deal, it was a great offer, and it was the alternative that they had for people who didn't want to spend thousands of dollars to fly out to Vegas for Command Fest, was this like $250 or something like that. But it was a great deal. It came with a mystery booster box, like mystery edition, whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say. And then just a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, it had a lot of value in it. Sold out in 90 minutes. 90 minutes. So a ton of people missed out on it. There's a lot of people who didn't even know about it because it was such a small announcement compared to Command Fest and everything else that it just didn't get covered the same way. So that kind of concerns me that you may miss out if you're not there like November 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific time is what they said they're going to start the sale at. So you definitely need to be prepared. Other than that, though, I thought this was an absolute home run, a great idea. You could have said that those 7 cards were $150 on their own. I think that's actually a pretty decent deal. I think Necropotence is like 30 or 40 right now. Chrome Mox is like 70 or 80 for the most recent, newest printing. So between those two, you get pretty close to your value back. You could lower it a little bit and still be making a good amount of money if you're Wizards. So the Secret Lair 30 Celebration Kit is definitely what I'm leaning towards out of the two, not just for financial reasons, but I honestly love the art. Go check those cards out. They're wonderful. I thought Shark Typhoon, especially with the VHS set, tape cover kind of feel to it. Necropotence was really cool. Like they all, and it wasn't like one style. It's like each one had a different kind of art style. Very cool. Elspeth Sun's Champion is like an old frame Planeswalker with just all the wording broken down. I mean, really neat stuff. So that is definitely the product of the two today that I'm like, oh, shit, that's good. And I wrote something down here that was really interesting. So this Secret Lair kit, you're going to get about 30 cards. I'm imagining they'll give you a bonus card or something. There's no way they're not going to give you a bonus with it being their 30th anniversary. But you're getting 30 cards for about $150. Let's say $175 after shipping and taxes. That's actually pretty good value because Secret Lair generally is about 5 cards for roughly $40, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but $40 is a really solid average point. So that's a pretty decent deal. And like I said, you could give me those 7 and I think that was a good Secret Lair. So overall, large start to the anniversary here. I mean, that's I don't have anything for that Secret Lair that I would change because I don't know what else we're getting in it. There's 23 more cards to go, but the first 7 were bangers. They're monster hits. I really like it. And the way that they talked in the article was these aren't just going to be popular cards. They're going to be proven winners in tournaments and things like that. So I like that. I really think that's cool. Overall, today was a lot of announcing of what the future is going to hold. And that's fine. Like, you know, MTG 30, that's crazy that we got 30 years, right? I think today is actually kind of a loss for Magic the Gathering. And it's because of that first product, that beta re-release. I don't care that they're breaking the reserve list. I don't care that they're printing beta. I am just so shocked at the price. The price, like we've known for a long time that they really don't care about the lower end player. They want the whales. And again, Jim Davis today, another great thing he said, it was something along the lines of, you know, Wizards of the Coast would rather sell $100 card to 10 people than a $10 card to 100 people. And I think that's really powerful because that's 100% the case. And after hearing him say that, I 100% agree. So I think today's kind of a loss because the flagship item that you're doing for your 30th anniversary, you are breaking the reserve list, which any content creator that starts with, well, they're technically kind of breaking you, it's yes or no. And yes, they're printing cards that are on the reserve list. They're breaking the reserve list. So you're breaking the reserve list. You didn't really talk much about that. You just kind of don't care. You way overpriced it to such a just absurd level that people's videos on YouTube, if it's not some kind of like clickbait, it's Watsy just released $1,000 set. Things like that. Like the community seems to be pretty in step on the fact that $1,000 for 60 cards is just stupid. Now they made up some huge ground with the Secret Lair. Some of the other stuff, like what they're doing with Arena, they did the rest of the promo cards that they're releasing throughout the year, and a couple other things. Definitely worth a read. But these were the two big ones. They kind of made up for with a few of those other, but this was by far what they were banking to be their flagship moment, item, thing to remember from this 30th anniversary. And we hear people talk about all the time, if they're trying to sell you something as a collector's item, it's not really a collector's item. And not only do I not believe this is a collector's item, I believe it's so overpriced that they are hoping to just make a bunch of it, and the price will make it feel exclusive to the people who buy it, not the actual exclusiveness of the item, if that makes sense. And again, I'm really fascinated to see how it goes over. I'm fascinated to see, is this the beginning of more sets like this? Are we going to get these new card backs? Does this mean championship decks are coming back? Because I really enjoyed that, and I thought that was a really cool idea. And I wouldn't be against that. Like I said earlier, though, I'm all about Wizards skipping on quality control when it comes to the physical card. And I'm all about them skipping on playtesting. I'll believe that all day because they've proven they just don't give a shit. I'm not as willing to believe that they're going to risk everything without really looking into this reserve list thing. Just my gut tells me that they have spent a lot of time researching this to make sure that they don't have any issues, or at least they're aware of what they could run into. Just fascinated to see what happens here over the next few months, next few years, and what this means for just a lot of different things. I wouldn't necessarily go out and start selling your reserve list. I wouldn't necessarily go out and start picking up reserve lists. I would actually wait. This is a classic wait and see opportunity. Let's wait and see what they end up doing. If this goes over like a lead balloon and it is just ripped to shreds and they have people trying to actually sue them, I can't imagine that they're going to keep doing these products. Which means that likely people will have to get back into buying the reserve list if they really want those cards. If this goes over really well, that's a different story. I mean, I think that this is one of those wait and see moments that this game offers us way too often. Yeah, we'll just have to legitimately just see how it turns out. Other than that, I think Magic's 30th anniversary is going to be kind of interesting. Really cool cards. With the exception of this first thing that they've released, the re-release of beta, I have a lot of hope that pricing won't be that bad. That being said, hope can be an obstacle as much as a help. So, thank you guys so much. It's Tony K. We just spent a bunch of time talking about Magic the Gathering's 30th anniversary announcement today. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, share, follow, download, upload, whatever it is that the social media platform you're watching me on. Make sure you're helping me grow through that. It means so much. Thanks.